Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy YBP Gang, YBP Nation, YBP Boxing. Coming at y'all with another video breakdown of a new fight that was just announced. Roman Bravo Young versus Alex Perez. Obviously, Alex Perez competes at the flyweight division in the UFC. Just got choked out by Alexander Pantoja. And the first guy I mentioned, Roman Bravo Young, has, a lot of accolades. I believe he was a freestyle wrestling champion, folk style wrestling champion at the D1 level for Penn State. Just a great overall grappler, and he's the bigger guy in this matchup at 135 pounds. I just now heard about this. Apparently, this news has been out since May 25th. But I just heard about it on the broadcast. I haven't seen any videos made about it, so I thought I'd make it right now. I'm at like a little function right now, so I just thought. Not really doing anything, so I might as well drop a video. But for this matchup, I'm not too familiar with like BJJ. By the way, this fight's being contested in BJJ rules, so I believe it's like you either get a submission, technical submission, referee stoppage, or disqualification. That's the only way you can win. And then if there isn't a submission that happens, there's no like, I don't think it goes to a decision. It goes to like overtime, in which like you guys, both opponents are put into like you get your opponents back, and you have to try to choke them out in a specific time, and if the other guy escapes, then they get a turn. So they pretty much like forcing like there has to be like some sort of it would almost be like if instead of going to a decision in like an MMA match, they'd line you guys up and you guys gotta slap each other or punch each other until like when you guys get like a successful how do you call it, knockout. So in this type of format, you're obviously gonna see with RBY, he's going to have the size advantage out there with him being 135 pounds. He's going to be bigger than Perez. That's what he competes at. But then Perez, I think he's going to have the BJJ just because he's been practicing the MMA format. He's been submitted by guys. He's seen that type of stuff. RBY's style is more catered to like controlling your opponent, getting them to the ground. I think it could work in like MMA, but in a BJJ setting, it might not work. You can definitely see what they're trying to do with like here though. Like, I think RBY wants to maybe make a move to the UFC, seeing as his teammate Bo Nickel, and I heard Carter Starocci has some interest in competing in the UFC. He made some disrespectful comments. Like I saw he was talking about like, oh, like the champion of my division is like a D2 champion, like that's amateur from where I'm from, like all that stuff. Like I don't really like how he's talking like that, like 'cause like all that wrestling stuff goes out the window once you get kicked in the face, like punching all that. Like it's called MMA for a reason, Usman didn't become champion, even though he lost to Leon. He didn't become champion by just being purely a wrestler. Kobe, didn't become a high-ranked welterweight just being a wrestler. Like he had to do multiple things. He had to, learn how to strike. Fell in love with his hands a little bit, but develop the power, develop a gas tank. Learn some jiu-jitsu. Like it's an all-around game. So like him disrespecting, that's why I don't like at least Nickel. Like the reason why Nickel is gonna have like success in the future is not because he's just purely a wrestler. He's learning the Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He's learning how to utilize that with his wrestling, and then you see the power, you see the strength that he has against these guys. Now I don't think you should throw him into a matchup with Ikram Aliskerov or anything. I saw Ikram called him out. Now he's getting Paulo Costa, but definitely like he's gonna like have success in the future utilizing all his skills. So I'm sure Roman Bravo Young learned some BJJ coming up with this matchup. I think it's June 29th, so it's coming up pretty soon. I'm definitely, I don't usually tune in for this type of stuff. I'll definitely be doing my research, watching more BJJ matches, just getting me set up, getting me ready to see how these type of matches are conducted, how it might play out. Cause yeah, it's nothing. It's like nothing else you see in like the sport. Like I saw Joe Pyfer knock out GM3, and then they fought in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu match not too long after, or they got scheduled for one. So that's possible with BJJ. So yeah, and the problem with BJJ too, why I think it's like not as big as it could be, like why it's not like universal, is like the differing rule sets. Like some rule sets, like you can't do heel hooks. Some rule sets you can't do like knee bars. Some rule sets you can't like do certain stuff, like it's all different. There's no like one universal, one over everything like rule set out there. So you kind of just get left with you get left with I don't know, competitions that are like this guy might be the best in that rule set, but then another guy might be the best in that rule set. So you can't get like a, you know, like UFC, MMA rules. You know, you can compare Bellator guys. They can switch over organizations and wouldn't be a, oh shit. They can switch over, my fault. They can switch over like rule sets and it wouldn't be a problem because like we all operate under the same MMA rule set. Nah. All in all, I got what's it called? I think I gotta go with Alex Perez, even though he's a smaller guy in this matchup. Actually, I hope Roman Bravo wins, just so he can like set up his career off that. The biggest thing I wanted to like accomplish with this video is to like highlight that like this might be the new way that wrestlers are like people who are really good in that type of realm, freestyle, folk style. This might be their new like entry into the UFC, just by going into these like UFC Pro Invitational matches and then working their way into the UFC. So like there's gonna be like new entries into the like organization, like just like how we saw with even in Power Slap, there was a guy, he was an undefeated mixed martial artist, and then he got knocked out in Power Slap, and now I don't see him like competing in Power Slap tournaments ever. Now he's like on the side. I don't know if they're gonna like sign him to the UFC, but like that could be a legitimate way to get into the UFC, like power slapping, the Pro Invitational scene, Fury Pro, all that stuff. Like Richie Lewis, for example. He could be coming to the UFC, but yeah, man. I mean, this is probably going to be, see it as being like a new way to get into the UFC. Now we're seeing, so that would add on to another list. So it would be Dana White's Contender Series, the Ultimate Fighter. I'm trying to see. Power Slap will be a way, and then through this like little grappling series that they have going on, that could be another legitimate way to like punch your ticket. If you're like really good at that, you could be like, oh, I want to try MMA, and then boom, you could just get right into it. I like it because I like when those big stars like Bo Nickel. We'll see if Carter Starocci actually follows through. I know Spencer Lee has expressed interest in doing it. Or no, I don't know if it was Spencer Lee, if it was like the Ferrari brothers, like AJ Ferrari, because they hang around like Jorge Masvidal and all that type of stuff. So those type of guys, you know, like I said, Bo Nickel, Carter Starocci, and then Roman Bravo Young. A lot of those Penn State guys. Bo Nickel had mentioned like wanted to participate in the UFC and do MMA full time. Because I mean, I think going into wrestling, I don't think that was like the plan. I don't think they were like, oh, I want to be a UFC champion. But then as you going on, you're like, I want to keep doing this. I want to keep training. I want to keep fighting. I want to keep at the best level and get paid, you know, boatloads amount of money in the UFC. That's where you can kind of fulfill that dream, you know, because freestyle wrestling, like, let's say just to win the tournament, you're not getting paid that much, you know, like maybe you go, when you're wrestling at that like high level, like it's really for honor, you know, like Jordan Burroughs. I'm sure he has like sponsorships and stuff and like all that stuff, but it's not to the level of like a UFC star would. Or I think of another guy like this is that, yeah, when you wrestle like for so long. There's another guy like named like I'm trying to think of his name, like it's a bunch of wrestlers, but that was a good example because Jordan Burroughs is like pretty high level. You just don't get that much notoriety, credit, money in general from going that path instead of being a UFC champion or being a UFC contender. So that's always been a dream for like a lot of guys who are looking to fulfill that part of like to keep fighting while also still having that wrestling background, still training, still going forth with having that discipline, that whole like lifestyle that they have going on, because it's passion, it's love, it's like, you know, love for the sport. You can still do that while making a good amount of money, making a living out of it. And that's the dream, you know, doing that. You know, you see like some guys even like with basketball and stuff, like they'll go overseas just to get paid through it. That's the biggest thing. So definitely want to see Roman Bravo Young succeed in the future, like just go crazy with what he's doing. Alex Perez is a good litmus test to see how good he can do. Utilize his wrestling skills in the MMA setting, you know, BJJ and wrestling. So what he can do there. Yeah, And yeah, it's gonna be exciting, man. That's they announced some other fights. They announced like I believe they announced the main event was Felipe Pena versus Nicky Rod or someone. I wasn't too familiar with the guys who were mentioning this, or at least I've heard of them, but I wasn't too intrigued by them. But it was the wrestler Roman Bravo Young I really knew, and Alex Perez because he just got choked out, and he's a flyweight contender. Like that's a big, like, if he can get that name on his resume, in a field where he's like somewhat familiar in, then sky's the limit for that type of kid. So yeah, man. Shout out to RBY. Hopefully he can get the win. My official prediction though, I think Perez gonna win by that's the thing, like, it's, I don't know, he kind of has to win by submission. So I'll just say like Perez is gonna win. But Roman Bravo Young will have his moments, and he'll get a chance to showcase his talent in front of the UFC audience and show that he's not just a wrestler, you know. So yeah, man, leave a like on the video, subscribe. That's all I really got for y'all today. I think might make a YouTube short or something like that. But yeah, man, I'm just trying to grind, man. I try to put out the UFC. What content is it? UFC 289. The breakdowns for that card, and then we just keep it going, man. So yeah, man, leave a like on the video, subscribe, and yeah, peace out, Mo Squad. I ain't know what it is. Cool.